Bye week is always important to get rest, heal up. Football is a physical sport and takes its toll on your body, especially after 8 football games. So for us to have a open this time of the year is tremendous advantage to people that don't have one. It gives us an extra week off to get in the training room and get some lot of well-needed treatment on a lot of bruises, bumps and bruises that you occur during a tough, rugged football season. So we did that all week and took 3 days off, and we practiced 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We practiced and just went back to the fundamentals, the basics. Got some of the young guys some reps and rested up the vets. And so it was very productive off week.
Coach, this week you got Savannah State coming in, much improved team, playing a lot better. It beat rival Norfolk State last week, 31-14. Talk a little bit about what have you seen on film on Savannah State?
Well, I've seen a much improved football team from last year. And I think that those guys, last 2 or 3 years they won 2 football games, and they won 3 already this year. So I think those guys have bought in to Coach Rayburn's system, and they believe, and you can see it on the tape. Those guys are flying to the football. They're playing hard. There's no quit in them. And I think it's because they believe in the system and what he's doing. And then the proof is in the pudding with 3 wins in this year. And so they're 3-2 in the conference. We're 4-2 in the conference. They're right behind us. They're trying to get to 4-2 where we're at. So we got to be ready to play. They're a good football team. They coach well, and they're playing hard right now. Dave?
Do you feel like you guys have the bye week? But you guys feel like you're coming into a good groove right now with your 3 wins in your last 4 games?
I think so. We do have 3 in our last 4. We didn't play well at FAMU, but we rebounded well, playing well at home against South Carolina State, and gave us our 3rd win out of 4 games. So, but you always welcome the open week at this time of the season to get the banged up guys back healthy as possible, and to get that extra week of rest. So we don't mind the rest coming, even though we count on the road there winning 3 out of 4. We understand what got us those wins and what we did to get there, and we need to continue to do those type things to keep the winning going.
Anything in particular about Savannah standing out and where in areas they've improved?
Oh, they improved in all areas. Offensively, they got a great scheme. They try to spread you out, play the numbers game. They run the quarterback. When they get the numbers in the box, they run him, and that puts a lot of pressure on the defense. Special teams, they improved defensively. They got Marquise Smith, number 25, a defensive end, a senior guy that's leading those guys and playing hard. I think he has like 8 sacks on the season. And then they got 58 coming off the other end, the defensive end, a sophomore who they say basically is Smith's clone. So in the next 2 years, they expect him to play the way Smith is playing this year. And then I also have a linebacker that's playing pretty well right now, too. Simmons is playing very well right now for him. So those 3 guys lead that defense. Up the front 7 is the key, and stopping the run and putting pressure in the passing game and makes the secondary guys better. And so it's a total team effort, but they got some guys that's really playing hard every single play over there.
And you guys, your 2 principal running backs are both over 5 yards a carry. Yaki's almost at 6. Been pretty happy with the way the running game's producing?
I have. I saw that. Well, both of those guys are over 5 yards, or right at 5 yards, and almost 6 yards a carry. And then, it goes back to the defensive line. The offensive line, open up holes for those guys. And then those guys running. And also the receivers blocking, because receivers blocking turns a 8-yard play into a 23-yard play or a 40-yard run. So you have to give credit to not only those 2 guys, but the offensive line and the wide receivers for blocking downfield for those guys and get big yardage because they break 1 or 2 a game, and that's because of downfield blocking. They just not getting 6 yards here, 7 yards there. So it's a total team effort, but those guys are doing a great job.
And TJ had a big day against South Carolina State. You were talking, I guess, a couple weeks ago about some injuries he's dealt with this year. And how welcomed was that to see him see him back to the way he's been looking?
It was a great welcome. I noticed it on Tuesday. He was flying around pretty good, and I was telling the guys that number 5 is back. And I told him at the end of practice 5 is back, and then Wednesday he came out and had another good practice, and he rolled right over into the game. He was finally feeling good and 100%, and he had a great game. And that's what we've been needing from him to complement Proctor on the other side, where they came down just double team Proctor, where they were trying to double team him earlier. You just got to play straight up and pick your poison.
Savannah has a new coach, right?
Yes, they do.
Is the system any different than last year? Or they kind of have a different philosophy?
Defensively, not really. It's pretty much the same. Offensively, they was kind of air raid. They had Coach Wilson that used to be here. And he's an air raid guy, just spread you out, throw the ball all around the field. They run a lot of spread, but they do more runs with the quarterbacks and do some other stuff, some motion, and run jet sweeps and things of that nature with the offense. So the offense is similar in the personnel, but it's different in the execution and the plays that they run. So it's a little different. It's a little different.
Follow up on the running backs. I noticed during the South Carolina State game you're using Dwayne Garrett more as an H-back type role, even you're on the line as a tight end sometimes. Can you talk about the change that you made with him, and is Carter Johnson's success necessitate that move?
Well, yeah, those two, Carter and Johnson, I felt was our 2 best backs, and those 2 guys need to be rotating, and I didn't need to be rotating 3 guys in there, because when I put Garrett in there, it's taken away from one of those other 2 guys that I thought give us a better chance to be more successful at the running back position. So I moved Dwayne down to 3rd and kind of cut his reps. And then, Dwayne is too good of a football player just to be sitting on the sideline. And when Quentin Lee went down, our fullback, so now I just kind of worked Dwayne in there, fullback in the Troy package. He'd be the fullback. And then we line him up and down, almost like an H-back off the ball. And he can do a lot of different things. He can catch the ball out of the backfield, and he can block. And we still got a couple running plays for him, too. So just trying to always tell people it's not rocket science. We're going to play to our strengths and defense weaknesses. We need Garrett on the field. He's one of our better players, and so we try to get him on the field and get him involved.
As far as other guys being healthy or unhealthy, about Michael Young at center, how's he?
Michael Young has been suspended.
Okay.
Violating team rules. So we don't know when we'll see Mike again.
I was talking about the game for Robert Scott because in South Carolina State, too. I mean, the defense really stepped things up, especially in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, they did. The defense played well. Scott got an interception right after we turned the ball over.
Yeah.
And so that's a big momentum swing there where it looks like, okay, we got sudden change, and our guys are down, and they got great field position and short field, and they about to score, and Scott intercepts the next pass and give it right back to us. So now that deflates them, give us back the energy that we needed. And I think Brendan Cole got a turnover too. Yeah, and Brendan Cole got a turnover. And so the defense is playing great. They're starting to get turnovers and takeaways now where they wasn't doing that early in the season. And so, I mean, it was great because, I mean, we played and made some turnovers that we shouldn't have. Faber Kenny dropping 2 punts, giving those guys short fields, and then Bell dropping a punt at the end of the game with an 8-point lead. And I kind of take the blame for that because I probably should have told him don't even try to field the football. And I didn't do that. So I'm going to take the blame for him fumbling that ball in that situation because there's no reason for him to catch that ball. If he wasn't 100% sure he was going to catch it, he should have just let it go. And that's my fault for not making that perfectly clear to him. So I'll take the blame for that. But, then again, they got a touchdown there, but the defense held them on a 2-point conversion. So they still bowled it back. I mean, it was tough, giving the ball right there. And considering this situation and the game on the line, it's almost guaranteed that they're going to score because they're so hungry. But then we defense bowled it back and stopped on a 2-point play, and then we got it back and ran the clock out.
And I think just one more thing about those turnovers, like you said, you haven't had many this year, but when you have had them, they've been in big situations.
Yeah, they have. They've been in crucial situations, and we got to get that corrected. We got to play good, solid football, even when it's crunch time or when the pressure's on. And that's something we got to learn how to do, and we got to do a better job of.
So you're starting Herring at center, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. How long, did he start South Carolina State?
Yes.
Okay.
Played the whole game.
And he played the whole game? I wasn't here, so I didn't know.
Okay.
Is that a hard thing to, center, quarterback exchange and all that stuff is such a big thing? Does that require a lot of extra time and practice to kind of get them?
It used to when the quarterbacks was up on the center all the time. But nowadays, everybody in shotgun.
Right.
And
easy.
so, yeah, it's easy. I mean, you just snap it back there to his chest. Before you had to get up under there, you had to get a grip, you had to get it to the top hand. You couldn't have a bunch of bobbling because you bobble the ball now, I'm late on the handoff or late getting out of my drop or somebody step on my foot. So nowadays, we still go up on the center, so we have to work on it, but not as much as in the past because if we do start having some problems, we can just go to shotgun and run our whole offense out of shotgun as most teams in America do anyway. So it's not as big a deal as it would have been 10 years ago or 15, 20 years ago as it is now. Because most of these centers and quarterbacks come out of high school and never been up on the center before. So that's one of the issues that I deal with when I recruit quarterbacks. I need somebody that's been up under the center because we take snaps from up under the center. And these guys come from high school and been shotgun their whole career, and so they can't take the ball from up under the center.
He's a true freshman?
Oh, yeah, he's a true freshman.
Is that rare, starting a true freshman at center?
Well, I think it'd be rare if it was at the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's at the end of the season. He learned the system, and he knows what he's doing, and he's familiar with the calls and the checks and things of that nature. So I think it's okay. But it's just, you got to take a hats off to my coaches for getting out on the road and getting quality freshman athletes that can come in here and play at this level right now, freshman year. Because, he started against South Carolina State, a team that everybody thought we was going to lose to, and we beat him with a freshman at center. Probably the best or second best defense in the conference. So. That's all, folks.
Good afternoon, Hampton Pirates fans. Welcome back to HamptonPirates.com. I'm here today with head football coach Cornell Maynard. Coach Maynard, thank you for taking the time to talk with us a little bit.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Glad you can be here. Coach, first, let's talk a little bit about the South Carolina State game. You guys were able to do something that hadn't been done since 2005. You beat South Carolina State. Talk a little bit about the game and what was the plan going into the game and how do you all execute that plan?
Well, it's very simple. On offense, our plan is always to try to stay balanced and keep the defense off balance with the run and the pass. Defensively, we want to be aggressive and put pressure on the quarterback and try to stop the run, make them one-dimensional. And special teams just fly around and make plays. And we knew it was going to be a tough game. South Carolina State is always tough. They're always right there competing for the MEAC championship. So we was prepared. We was ready to play. And we got the ball and went down and scored early and kind of got a little bit of momentum. And, we dominated the first quarter, and then they dominated the second quarter. And then our guys continued to fight and got a little lead going into the fourth quarter. And we squandered a punt and put them right back in the game. But our defense bowled it next on the two-point conversion and stopped them. And then we was able to get the onside kick, which bounced around a little bit and scared some people. But we came up with it and was able to run the clock out.
Coach, I told you this, the first drive of that game was just so masterful. I mean, the way JJ was able to throw the ball and get us down the red zone and score that first touchdown. I've been reading some stuff about quarterbacks in the MEAC. I don't see a lot on Williamson. Talk a little bit about JJ and the job that he's done this season and the numbers that he's putting up.
Well, JJ's done a great job all year long from day one. He's a senior. He's a leader on and off the football field. He understands the offense. He understands everybody's position, the offensive line, the running backs. He's telling the running back what to do. He's calling the protection. and then you got to read the defense and make the throw. So we asked him to do a lot, but he's up for the challenge, and as you can see, he's doing a great job in leading us and got us in position here where we can win these last two to finish up 6-2, and he's leading the conference in passing yards, and he's the #1 passer in the conference. So he's on pace to be all-conference quarterback this year if he gets continue to do what he's been doing these last 3 games.
All right, Coach. Last week you guys had to bye. You had a chance to rest, recuperate, get better, to take some time off. This week you got Savannah State coming in. Talk a little bit about what you've seen about Savannah State. I know they're a much improved team. They're sitting at 3-4 overall and 3-2 in conference play, something that they're not used to. But just talk a little bit about what you've seen on them on film.
Well, I just seen a team that really believes in what they're doing. Offensively, in their scheme, what they're doing, they do a lot of good things, and I see those guys really bought in and executing at a high level. Defensively, these guys are bought in. They're playing hard. They run into the football, and that's the key, effort. And I think they really have bought into Coach Rayburn's system, and they believe in what they're doing. They won 3 games this year, and I think they won 2 in the last 2 years. So that makes it easy for guys to buy in and play hard and just do what the coach says. And I think that's the result of them having a 3-2 record in the conference.
All right, Coach. Give me what are your keys to win this game on Saturday?
Offensively, we got to continue doing what we've been doing, stay balanced, not turn the ball over, and score in the red zone when we get opportunities. And like I said, they take care of the football. Defensively, we can't give it the big plays, and we got to try to make them one-dimensional. We got to try to take something away, just make them one-dimensional. Either they got to throw the ball the whole time, or they got to run the ball. So we can't let them throw and run.
All right, Coach. Defensively, Savannah State this season seems like they had a really good defense, holding teams to a very low number of points. But offensively, last week they played Norfolk State and was able to put up 31 points on the board. As an offensive guy, looking at their defense, what did you see? What do you see them doing defensively?
Oh, they just play so hard. I mean, they front 7. Marquis Smith, number 25, coming off the edge is a beast. I think he has like 8 sacks this year. And then 58 is on the other side. He's coming off. He's playing hard. Then they got a linebacker that's playing well. So that front 7 is stopping the running game and putting pressure in the passing game, making it easier for the secondary guys. And that's the reason why their defense is playing so well. They just flying around. They don't miss a lot of tackles, and they play so hard.
All right, well, there you have it. Hampton plays Savannah State on this Saturday at 1 p.m. here at Armstrong Stadium. We ask all the fans to come out if you can, be at the game, watch the game live on HamptonPirates.com.
Go Pirates.